Level 1. -$4. The notification hits at 6:47 a.m. Your account is overdrawn by $4.02. You didn't even do anything reckless. A coffee, a subscription you forgot to cancel, timing that missed payday by 6 hours. The fee is $35. Not $4. 35. For being $4 short. You call the bank. A recorded voice tells you your estimated wait time is longer than usual. When a human finally answers, her name is Denise. You'll remember that later, though you don't know why yet. She's polite, scripted, and immovable. I understand your frustration, but that fee is standard policy. You ask if it can be waived. Just this once. She checks. She can't. You hang up and do the math nobody tells you. American banks collect roughly $8 billion a year in overdraft fees, and the data is blunt about who pays it. It's overwhelmingly the same small percentage of customers, again and again, the ones who can least afford it. You are, this morning, statistically exactly who that fee was designed for. Level 2. $340. You've stopped the bleeding. No more overdrafts. You built a buffer, finally, $340 sitting untouched in checking like a small stubborn flag planted in the ground. You call the bank about a different fee this time, a $12 monthly maintenance charge you didn't know existed until it started appearing. Denise again, different call, same script, though this time there's an actual answer buried in it. If you maintain a $500 minimum balance, that fee is waived. Nobody told you that. It wasn't in bold anywhere. You had to ask the exact right question to get the exact right answer, and you wonder how many people never think to ask. Level 3. $9,000. The savings account autopay finally clears $9,000, and on your next call, a routine question about a wire transfer. Something small changes. Denise doesn't check a script this time. She just knows the answer. Wire transfers are free for you, actually, since you're over the $5,000 relationship tier. You didn't apply for a relationship tier. Nobody sent a letter. It just quietly happened, a line you crossed without a ceremony, and the bank noticed before you did. This is the part almost nobody explains right. Most banks' actual, preferred, or relationship tiers start surprisingly low, often $5,000 to $10,000 in combined balances. Not the $15,000 private banker fantasy some finance videos promise, and not the seven-figure gatekeeping people assume either. It's a small door. But it is a door. Level 4. $62,000. You get a letter. An actual letter, cream envelope, your name printed instead of stamped. You've been enrolled in Bank's preferred client program. You call to ask what that means practically. And for the first time you're not routed to the general line, you're routed to a direct extension. Denise picks up. She remembers your name before you say it, because your account is flagged now, visibly, on her screen. You have a dedicated banker, she says. That's actually me, if you want it to be. You didn't know that was a thing you could want. You say yes. Level 5. $310,000. Denise calls you this time, unprompted, which has never happened before in your life with any financial institution. I noticed you have a chunk sitting in a low-interest savings account, she says. There's a program that would get you almost triple the yield, no risk, same liquidity. You ask why she's telling you this. She says plainly, because keeping happy clients happy is easier than finding new ones, and honestly, you're not expensive to keep happy. It's the most honest sentence anyone from a bank has ever said to you, and you don't fully understand yet how much that honesty was itself the product. Level 6. $1,100,000. You cross $1 million on a Tuesday, doing laundry, of all things. The notification just a small buzz in your pocket you almost don't check. Denise's name still shows up when you call, but now there's a second name attached to your file. A wealth advisor, someone you've never spoken to, already reviewing your accounts before you asked anyone to. He calls within the week. I want to talk about tax-efficient account structuring, he says, and you realize the bank started managing your money before you decided to let them. Level 7. $4,700,000. This is where the actual title of private banker appears on paperwork for the first time, not as a marketing phrase but a real assigned role. And here's the part worth correcting directly, because plenty of finance content oversells this moment. It is not a partnership. It is not equity in anything. It is one dedicated person, decent fee waivers, and faster phone lines. That's it. That's the whole tier. It's meaningfully better service. It is not, despite what the internet insists, a seat at any actual table. You ask your advisor directly, what do people at 25 million get that I don't? He's quiet for a second, then honest. Basically the same thing you have. Just a nicer office to have the meeting in. Level 8. $18 million. Here's the angle almost nobody covers, and it matters more than the deposit side ever did. How banks treat you when you owe them money, not when you're keeping it with them. You take out a loan to acquire a piece of a business. $6 million. Structured. Collateralized. The terms are extraordinary. Low rate, generous covenants. A relationship manager who calls to check in before you've even missed a single payment deadline. You ask why the terms are so favorable. He says something you'll remember for the rest of your life. Banks don't actually want your $50,000 loan. The paperwork costs almost as much as the profit. They want your $6 million loan, because the profit on that is worth building an entire relationship around. A man who owned motorcycle dealerships once put it to you cruder, years later, at a dinner. Owe the bank a couple $100,000, they own you. Owe them 6 or 7 million, they roll out the carpet and pray you succeed, because your failure is now expensive for them too. Level 9. $60 million. Denise, now a friend more than a banker after 11 years, calls to say she's leaving the branch, moving to the private wealth division downtown, and she's bringing your file with her, because relationships like this one aren't handed to strangers anymore. Over what's become an actual dinner, not a call, she tells you the quiet truth of the entire industry. The bank isn't nicer to you because you're a better person. It's nicer because you stopped being a risk somewhere around level 6 and started being an asset they could build products around. The overdraft fee at level 1 and the fee waiver at level 9 were never about fairness. They were always about exposure. Level 10. $200 million plus. You don't call a general line anymore. Ever. There is no script, because there is no one left reading from one. Denise, retired now from actual banking but still on your family's advisory board out of habit and loyalty, tells you the one thing she's never said out loud before. You know the version of you at -$4? The bank still has him, somewhere in a spreadsheet. Different account. Different name. Same fee. You think about him sometimes, that version of yourself, standing at 6:47 a.m. staring at a $35 charge for being $4 short, doing math that used to matter this much. You were the same person that whole time. The fee never was.